And this Knicks team, 15 and 17, and they're a team that to me, I mean, Julius, they're to me over played their potential for sure. I think everyone knows that. And just how they're playing. I mean, even 2 games under 500, if you're a Knicks fan, you're so happy. They're playing really competitive basketball. I mean, for me right now, I think Julius Randle is obviously the heart of this team, and they're going to go as far as he can take them. And my thing was early in the season, I was like, will Randle take him there? And that was kind of the big thing. And I've just been like, oh, maybe he's going to fall off. Maybe he's going to fall off. Now we're almost halfway through the season, still hasn't fallen off. So, Nick, we'll start with you. What are you thinking of this Knicks team? What are you thinking of Julius Randle, him making this all-star team? And kind of where do you feel? Because we're almost at the midway point. What are you feeling about this Knicks team right now?
I don't think with Randle to start, I don't think I've had a player in New York sports history join the team and grow on me as much as Randle has. Last year, I was so confused what his role was. Did he want to be a facilitator? Did he want to be a scorer? Did he want to be a leader? You know, I had no idea what the direction of the team was with him at the forefront. And I obviously I want to give Tom Thibodeau credit for driving the team as the head coach, of course. But you need a guy who's going to be the leader of the team physically on the court, and that's Julius Randle. If you want to talk stats, he's got them. He's one of 3 players in the NBA right now, averaging 23, 11, and 5. It's him, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Nikola Jokic. 2 other MVP candidates, and the Knicks' record is not far behind either of those 2 teams who are regular playoff visitors. So as far as Randle goes, A+ grade for him. And the Knicks, you could argue the same thing. They've got guys stepping up all over. Quickly's been a great steal in the draft. RJ Barrett's been having his sneaky games where he could go and score 25, 30. He's got, up and down every once in a while, but he's still so young. Derrick Rose, I'm happy the Knicks brought him back. It's just another kind of presence there. Even Taj Gibson, you could say the same. But it's just a team that, I've been saying it since the season started, a team that even if they're going to lose a game, you're just so excited watching them because they're going to make it a close game, or they're going to at least fight, even if it's not as close. They're going to fight till the buzzer, and that's all you can ask for as a fan. Have your guys go out there, compete, and give you a good game to watch.
Yeah, the contrast right now between a team like the Knicks and the Celtics, who the Celtics are about to lose, they're going to have the same record. If you go on, Knicks chat rooms, Knicks comments, it's all hype. It's all Julius Randle's an all-star. This has been an awesome start. And if you look at Celtics fans, they're saying, burn this team to the ground. We're pathetic. Blow it all up. But yeah, so 15 and 17, if you told me through 30-something games, we'd be in the 500 bubble competing for a playoff spot. Obviously, we take it. We've seen some terrible basketball, some unwatchable basketball. And even when they lose, as Nick said, you're into the game. The Warriors game the other night, they were losing the entire fourth quarter, but they were battling. They're down 8. They make it a 2-point game. And just seeing the fight in the Knicks is really something we haven't seen. Tom Thibodeau, he's no coach of the year, I'd say, but he's done a great job kind of just turning around this team and making it competitive.
He gives them a culture, and even with Randle, he's a guy that, like Nick, you were saying last year, he didn't know what he was going to do. And Thibodeau definitely helped. Okay, this is going to be your role with this team. This is what you're going to do. And you just look at Randle in his career, he had a ton of potential, and now he's getting and tapping into that. And now he's an all-star. And that's what that type of coach like Thibodeau does. Same with a guy like Quickly, who's a late round pick, has a ton of talent. Thibodeau's guiding him, other, assistants. I know the Knicks have an assistant from Kentucky that coached Quickly, and that's probably really helpful too. And you bring in a veteran like Rose as well. And then, to me, RJ Barrett, he kind of goes under the radar because he's a guy, second year, so young, but I feel like every time I look at a Knicks box score, it's 20 points a game, like 20. So to me, as young as he is, that's another player that you can build around. And to me, you start seeing this Knicks team as kind of going down the path like the Nets were a few years back with just building that young core. And that to me is so exciting because, if you told me that the Knicks would be around 500 last year, I'd be like, you're 100% crazy.
Yeah, and I think the direction too has not necessarily changed. It's just, it's taken an alternate route now, to get to that kind of final goal. Of course, making the playoffs is the first step. But, you see guys, Kevin Knox, he's not in the rotation. Obi Toppin really doesn't see many minutes, but it's all for a good reason. Why does Quickly see minutes? Because he's playing out of this world. Tom Thibodeau has always been a big guy for playing a small amount of guys in the rotation, playing his big guys heavy minutes. You see RJ knocking 37 minutes up on the board every night. Same thing with Randle. But it's not all about now this Knicks culture of draft, play the rookie, hope he develops. Oh, if he doesn't, okay, we have next year. As Knicks fans, I think everyone can say we're sick of it. And so is Tom Thibodeau. He does not care for that style of play. He wants to win, and he has showed as a coach with Randle and with these guys as a unit now playing together, not just let me see what I can do as a rookie or let me see in my second year and bringing on a couple vets who can then just fill the spots. It's not about that anymore. It's about winning the games, not developing. If you're not good enough to play right now, or if you are not putting in the work that Thibodeau wants to see on the court, and you're not beating out the other guy, you will not play in the game. It's an unfortunate reality for guys who, Knox still so young, Frank Ntilikina, but it's how the team is functioning now, and frankly, it's been working so much better than the past few years have, and that's really the key to success, I think.
Yeah, even if this team doesn't really do anything, which I still think, we're not expecting this team to really compete for anything. Just the culture, just the direction of the team, like as Andrew brought up earlier, this was kind of where the Nets were a few years ago. You got some young guys, you brought in a few outside guys, D'Angelo Russell, maybe that's comparable to Julius Randle in this instance, and you're just competing and you're showing free agents and superstars that you have a direction. And is that what got Kevin Durant and Kyrie to Brooklyn? It certainly helped. I mean, the Knicks were, linked to them all year while they were getting embarrassed, while there was no culture. And meanwhile, you had the Nets across the town who were building something. So just to be building something, I think this year, I don't want to just call it a success immediately because obviously we still have 40-something games and maybe there is a playoff berth. But I couldn't be happier with the 15-17 record. As weird as that is to sound, like I think it's the happiest I could have been with a losing record for any of my teams ever, just because of what this team's been. So overall, I'm kind of enjoying the ride right now. We'll see what they do as the deadline approaches. Was D Rose the number one ad? We'll see. But overall, I'm just enjoying Knicks basketball.
Yeah, and that's, I think, why they brought in Tom Thibodeau to kind of steer the direction of the franchise, which to me is good. Like, I don't think Thibodeau's the guy that is going to get the big free agents. Like, I think they're going to need someone else. And that's just what I think. And just because I highly doubt like the big KD type player is going to want to play with such a controlling type coach like Tom Thibodeau, but still, I think the Knicks needed someone that can stabilize the organization, and he's been that guy. And that's something that to me is just, it's very, very important to start building that. And kind of the last tip that I do want to put in on this Knicks team is that the Knicks may have a lottery pick this year, and it may be from the Mavs, which who would have thought that coming into the year? And I know we'll get into some KP stuff later with Porzingis, but to me, that's just kind of the thing with the Knicks, and hopefully they can keep it up. And for me, I'm like, I've seen this story before where they started off well, like around 500, and then it just comes crashing and burning. But this team does feel different. They feel like they're building something. And back then you had bad coaches, and now you have a seasoned coach and a veteran coach. So I do think that this team can keep it up. And if they're even playing for a playoff spot, if they're in like that play-in tournament, that's a win.